Hello, it is so good to see you back on the mat. Today, welcome back to Yoga with Paige. This is a really yummy, slow stretch. So it's not quite yin. It's a slower, deep stretch. It'll be a pretty quiet practice. So this, you can put on music if you so desire, but I encourage you to take this opportunity to explore yourself and your mind. So try to resist the urge to put on something else in the background and really dive in and connect with your inner sense of stillness, or maybe your inner sense of how non-still your mind is today. No judgment, just see where you're at. I invite you to kind of have a silent practice of your own and just see what comes up for you. And before we get started, we don't need any props for this practice. It is all level friendly, great for beginners, but grab anything that you wish to use. And I wanted to give a shout out to this big extra large mat that I'll be using today. It gives me a lot of extra space to move around in my practice. So by gym mat with an X, you can find a little discount code in the description below to get a little discount on one of yours. And with that, we can get started whenever you're ready in a nice easy seat. All right. Settling in with the ankles crossed, sitting up nice and tall. Let the hands and arms become relaxed as you tune in to the breath. Introduce yourself to this practice today. Taking nice full breaths. And for most of the postures in this practice today, we'll be holding for about 3 to 5 breaths, but feel free to pause me at any time and stay for a longer. Taking a few more breaths here in your traditional easy seat to ground, to let go. And if you found your eyes closing, you can gently come back into the room. And on your next inhale, reach the arms up high over the head, keeping the shoulders down, finding length on the sides of the arms. Taking the hands together, palms meet, and then flipping the palms up to the sky, fingers interlaced. Taking one breath. And then on your next exhale, take the hands over to the right shoulder. Staying here in this side bend. Coming back through center, resetting with a breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale over to the left. Reaching back up, releasing the fingers, letting them fall to the sides. Sending the palms of the feet, the bottoms of the feet together, pressing big toes and heels, reaching for the feet if you can as you send the knees down. Feeling your hips open with every breath. Maybe using the feet to pull your chest closer. Big breath in and out. Carefully coming out of bound angle, planting the soles of the feet a little bit more than hip distance apart and coming into broken angel wing pose, broken wing pose. Placing elbows on the insides of the knee. This is going to look different, feel different on every body, so just find what feels good to you. We're focusing on opening through the upper back and the shoulders. So elbows in, and we can stay here and just press on the knees and the elbows, maybe pressing the palms together to kind of round through the back. Or we can go a step further if this is accessible and kind of wrap your hands around the thighs. So you're really, really pressing the knees together, almost trying to get the elbows together. Feeling this in the outsides of the arms, maybe in the spine. Perhaps we let the head hang. And on your next inhale, carefully raise the head, unravel, release everything, and turn to the front of the mat if you are facing the wide edge like me. Coming through staff pose first. Inhale, reach up, flex the feet. Then draw the right foot into the left inner thigh. Folding slowly when you're ready. Carefully coming back up through staff pose and switching. Beautiful. Lifting back up, crossing the feet at the ankles, and coming onto all fours. A nice tabletop pose here, ground down through the tops of the feet and the palms. Inhale, peel the left arm up, big breath. Really reach with the fingers. And exhale, thread the needle. Pressing back up. Inhale, left arm to the sky and back. Inhale, peel the right arm up. Beautiful, thread the needle. Find your twist. Coming back up, finishing with a nice big breath in. And plant the right hand. Coming into a nice melting of a puppy pose. Reach the fingertips out, chest comes down, hips are over knees. Surrender here. Carefully raising the head and moving onto the forearms when you're ready. Pressing through the forearms and the palms. Inhale, Sphinx pose. Active in the legs. Reaching the shoulders back. Beautiful. Exhale, release the chest. Make a little forearm pillow with your forearms here. Take the right knee, bending it, keeping it in line with the hip, flexing the foot, coming into a nice half frog, sending the pelvis down. Use your breath here. If you're holding it, then we need to dial it back a little bit, and that's okay. This practice is all about awareness. That's what we're here for, not perfection. And to release, plant the hands under the shoulders, carefully press up, making your way into pigeon pose, tucking this right knee underneath the hips, carefully extending the left leg behind and squaring yourself off. Only a few breaths here, so make them count. Soften where you can. Find some ease, especially if we're tight. And pressing back up, tucking the back foot, stepping up on the outside of this right hand, coming into lizard. Lifting the back knee off, planting the hands on the inside of the foot. We can always drop the knee down if need to. But that comes next, don't you worry. Reaching the left heel back, getting a nice long line, sending the chest forward. Coming down onto the elbows, if accessible. And carefully releasing the left knee if you haven't already, kicking the ankle up and reaching for it. So we can kind of find a little twist like so, or we can lift off and reach with both hands, drawing the heel into the hips, finding a nice quadricep stretch. All right, carefully release the foot back down. Take the right knee to match the left. And we come back down in through our Sphinx into our half frog. Left knee bends out to the side. Make your little pillow. You can rest the forehead down as we sink the pelvis. Lifting up and making your way into pigeon pose. Careful movements. Maybe a little sigh of relief there, who knows? Exhale, take the chest over the left knee. This is a great spot for a little mental check-in to notice how you feel throughout this practice. And stepping your way up into lizard whenever you are ready. Noticing your lines, reaching the heel back, lifting up with the chest. One or two more breaths. And carefully lower the right knee, finding your version of this juicy quadricep stretch. Releasing the ankle, this time tucking the back foot to lift the knee, turn to the long edge for a wide-legged forward fold. So really taking care to ground through the edges of the feet. Meet yourself where you're at, whether that be up on blocks, fingertips, forearms. Maybe we'd like to reach for the ankles. Allowing your breath to help you unfold. Last breath here. And then carefully bend the right knee. Come into Skandasana. Left leg extended out to the side. Find your position here. We stay here for about 2 or 3 breaths, focusing on the hips first. Fingertips at heart center or in front of you. A breath. And then we can stay here for these next 2 or 3 breaths, or we can reach the left arm up for a nice big side stretch. Find what feels good to you. And carefully switch sides. Now bending the left knee, extending the right. A few breaths. Taking the same variation you did on the other side. And making your way into Malasana or Yogi Squat. Heel toeing the feet underneath the hips and sinking them low. Our heels do not have to be on the mat for this posture. Maybe we want to wiggle it out a little bit. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Gingerly coming out, planting the knees down, taking big toes together, and finding a nice, comfortable child pose. Planting the forehead down, maybe reaching the arms around, kind of giving yourself a little hug. Letting your muscles relax. Send yourself one more loving breath. And lift the head. Gently roll onto the back for the last portion of this practice. Send the feet up into the air. Reach for the inside edges of the feet and draw the knees down by the ribs. Happy baby. Pressing the lower back down into the mat. Lengthening through the entire spine. Breathing nice and easy. Extending your left leg down onto the mat. Extending your right leg up into the air. One breath here. And then reaching this left back up, bending both knees, crossing the right over the left, trying to stack your knees and reach for both ankles. Pulling the ankles in as close to the hips as you can. Release tension from the shoulders, from the face. And keeping your legs bent, uncross them a little bit, planting both feet down, coming onto the left shoulder, trying to still reach for this left foot, so the one that's behind, underneath, not the on top. Cat tail pulling pose. Enjoy this beautiful twist of the lower back. And unravel yourself, rolling back onto your back, extending the right leg. Left shoots up in the air for one little breath. Pull it in. And then coming into your shoelace pose, this time the left leg is on top. Make your way there in your own time. And then use your breath. One last big breath in. And then carefully turn onto your right side, coming into your cat tail pulling pose or any other twists you might have taken. Finding gratitude for this body, the ability for us to practice together. And on your next exhale, sweetly release into corpse pose. Coming into a minute or two of Shavasana. I will put some background music on for this little portion. And I remind you to try to focus on only your breathing. Let thoughts drift in and away. Coming back to the body. Continuing to breathe. Feeling lighter, softer. You are filled with ease. Gently blinking your eyes open, wiggling your fingers, taking a moment to notice how you feel. And with that, I thank you very much for joining me for this slow full body stretch today. And I look forward to the next time we meet on Yoga with Paige. Let me know how you liked this class, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a beautiful rest of your day, my friend.